What's good, everybody? Odds are, if you are watching this channel, you already know who I am, which I am a small content creator. I'm a small streamer. I have 700 something followers on Twitch. I think it's like 724. And I love to talk. I love to talk about different things. I like to talk about content. I like to talk about anything you could think about. I'm probably talking about it. So this is my third YouTube channel that I will be literally just talking on. That's it. No stream content, no clips. I mean, maybe clips, but for the most part, it's literally just gonna be me talking to you guys, like we're having a conversation. And the reason why I started this channel is for a lot of reasons. The main thing being that I feel like I can help a lot of people with some of the things that I know, and a lot of people have said that I can help them. So I was like, why not start a channel where I literally just talk about things that I've learned in the last couple of years when I've been diving into content creation head first. And the most important thing for me is that I help you guys, but I'm literally just gonna be talking about anything going on. I'm gonna be motivating you guys, and it's gonna literally be just raw, uncut footage, cuts here and there. But for the most part, I literally want this to be a channel where we literally just cut up. So for the first thing I want to talk about is who I am and how I got into content creation and how I grew a following from 100 followers to 700 followers in under a year, which isn't huge, but it's still big if you know anything about Twitch. So let's go. So my content journey dates all the way back to 2018. I was always watching Nick Mercs, Shroud, all those guys that were playing different games back then when Twitch was primarily gaming. And I always thought it was cool how they were making money off of streaming, how they were making money off of making content. And at the time, Team 10 was around, Jake Paul, all the hype houses, all that stuff was around. And I was like, man, it's so cool that they literally post on Instagram, post on TikTok, Musically, whatever it was, and they literally are making money off of it. And that's when I kind of knew for me that that was the route I wanted to take. So when I was a senior in high school, I did vlogs. I think I made like 6 vlogs and they all flopped. But I knew that I had a dream and a passion for it because I took it so serious. I would always go buy the nicest camera. I would always go and buy the coolest things or try to get the next coolest thing to make my content better. But all I was doing for myself was really just holding myself back because I was spending way more money and not getting any return. So date back to 2018, watching Nick Mercs and Shroud. I was like, man, this is so cool watching Nick Mercs play Fortnite. This is when Nick was just had his breakthrough, was just barely getting big in streaming. I think he averaged like 1,000, 2,000 people at the time, which is still big, but not as big as he is now. And I was always thinking to myself, I want to do this. I want to do this. So let's jump forward 2 years. And in 2020, during COVID, which everybody knows, that's when streaming really started taking off, getting big, IRL streamings, Just Chatting, Aiden Ross, the whole big deal, right? The whole shebang. I knew that I wanted to do that, right? So here I am, my PlayStation 4, COVID-19, Modern Warfare 2019, and a dream, okay? So we're playing all night. All the guys are playing all night. And I'm like, bro, this is the perfect time for me to start streaming. So sure enough, I have no face cam. I have no laptop to stream on. I literally am just streaming from my PlayStation. No mic, no anything, right? So I think I averaged like 1 or 2 viewers, if that. And if anything, that was my parents. I was trying to take it as serious as possible, but at the time I was still young, so I was like, kind of embarrassed about making content, streaming, doing whatever, thinking about what people were thinking of me, and we'll get to that later. But I was streaming regardless, what to say. So I was proud of myself, and I eventually ended up getting a laptop. I was using my mom's Mac. I was streaming from that. I somehow got a capture card and the whole deal, right? So the whole thing was going on. I think I finally hit affiliate in late 2020. And then after that, I fizzled out. I knew that I hit affiliate and I was like, all right, I hit affiliate. So I made a little bit of money. I think the most I made was like $63. That was my first check on Twitch, which is still a really big deal. But after that, I fizzled out because I was like, okay, I'm in college. Like, I don't really have time for this. I made excuses in my head, right? I was like, I'm not going to do this. This is too whatever. Boom. So let's fast forward. I'm making short reels. I'm making short films. Not short films, but I'm making short form content. Yes, short form content. and I'm making it here and there. And I knew I still had that burning passion for making content, doing different things, filming like me going to change my tire on my truck with my buddies, or me going on a hunt the next day, or me literally just driving home, installing something on my truck with my dad. And that was the kind of content I was making when I was in college. And some of those videos caught on. And then in 2023, right when I graduated, I knew that I wanted to take it a little bit more serious. And looking back in hindsight, I probably would have been a lot further had I just stayed with it and stuck with streaming and stuck with posting on Instagram and all the short forms. But I was in my head. So 2023, I get back into vlogs. I'm riding dirt bikes. And I'm like, man, I got to vlog this. Like, this is such the perfect time for me to start vlogging. I'm just now graduated. Don't really have a full-time job yet. This is the perfect little hiatus, like perfect little passing time for me to make YouTube videos. So boom, Dino 4K. I actually am not Dino 4K. I'm still Dino at the time. And I'm just making videos with me and my buddies. We're going and riding. We're going to do all these different things. I'm trying to think of every way possible that I can squeeze the littlest amount of content because I'm from a small town where nobody really knows about content unless you're really in like the YouTube Twitch sphere. And I was doing it. I was like, okay, this is cool. I think my most viewed video got like 400 views, which is really good for YouTube. Don't ever let nobody tell you that's not good. So boom, doing that. I actually ended up winning a dirt bike, and that's when I started taking content very seriously because I saw that this person, his name's Buttery, was doing it. He was literally doing what he loved, making content, filming YouTube videos, and it was awesome. It was super sick. So I start hitting it hard. Boom, posting reels. Boom, posting TikToks. Boom, posting Instagram shorts or YouTube shorts, all the good stuff, right? I had my first video go viral, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is sick. I got like what I thought was viral. I got like 3,000 likes on a video, and I had people following me, and I was like, dude, this is it. I'm going big. Currently at the time, I was a teacher, and I was teaching at the school, and I got a job, and I kind of stopped making content for just a little bit, but the dude reached out to me, my homie now, and said, hey, because I told him I wanted to move to California to make videos, to, learn everything, and he was like, hey, I got a buddy who just opened up a house, and he said, you can live there. All right, bet. So me at the time, thinking about it, give myself 2 days, boom, made the decision. Literally the next day, I literally drove 26 hours to California and started making content. Didn't really know what I was doing. This was my first time ever moving out of the state. First time ever moving this far away from my parents. It was scary, but I knew I needed to do it because it was so scary and it was so far-fetched and everybody said it was dumb. I knew I needed to do it because one, if you stay comfortable your entire life, you will never grow. You don't realize it in the moment, but when you're super comfortable with your life and you're doing things that are comfortable, you aren't really growing. You're just holding yourself back. You have to realize that doing things for yourself that put you in uncomfortable positions are good for you. They're what make you grow. They're what mold you into the person you're supposed to be. So I knew I needed to go take that leap, so I did it. Boom. I'm in California. I lived there for a whole year, made a lot of content, made a lot of YouTube content, learned so much, learned how to edit, learned how to do all the stuff, was hanging out with those people, and it was sick. So then I moved back to Texas, and I found my girlfriend. We're having a great life. We're chilling, and I'm going to work every day, and the content kind of phased out a little bit. I'm more so just coasting at this point and not really living and not really doing content anymore, not really posting anything. I just kind of stopped. I was posting here and there, but it wasn't nearly as much when I was in California. And there was one day I was literally playing a game, and I was like, bro, I get off work, I play the game, I go to sleep, I do the same thing. And that's what my life is supposed to be for the rest of my life. I couldn't live with that. I could not live with that. The fact that I knew so much different stuff about content and learned so much, and I wasn't going to let that go to waste. So I started streaming on TikTok. Started playing a game called MX Bikes. A lot of my people are actually from MX Bikes now and have kind of fizzled out, but that's where my main root of everything started, was through this game called MX Bikes, which is so random because it's so far away from what I'm doing now, but it's a great example of you just have to start. You don't have to make everything perfect, because where you're at right now could be a completely different area where you're at when a year later, 2 years later. You feel what I'm saying? So boom, I'm streaming MX bikes. It's going great. I'm averaging like 100 people per stream on TikTok, and I'm thinking this is it. I'm gonna be big. I'm gonna be a big MX bikes creator. And then Kai Cenat came into the picture. So on one day, I'm watching Kai Cenat, and I'm like, man, this is such a sick thing. Like, he literally starts a stream, sits and talks in front of his chat, and pulls in 70, 80,000 people and makes $100,000, $300,000 a month, which is crazy. So I was doing the math. Yeah, I was pocket watching. And I was like, I feel like I can do that. So at the time, I'm still streaming MX bikes, right? I'm still streaming MX bikes. I'm still doing all that. And I'm like, let me try to incorporate a way of Kai's kind of streaming into mine, right? So I switch up the MX bikes kind of content, and I'm doing like music. I'm playing music. I'm getting up, we're getting hype, we're dancing, but we're also still playing the game at the same time. And that really helped a lot too. So I hit a point where I was like 200 viewers every other stream. But I was still holding consistently 60 or 70, which is a lot. But on TikTok, it could be, you know what I'm saying? So I knew that after a couple months of streaming on MX bikes, I was like, man, this just feels like not too easy, but it just feels like it kind of came on too easy. You feel what I'm saying? So I knew, I was talking to my mods, I was talking to my managers at the time, talking to my father and my dad, my whoever. You feel what I'm saying? I was like, man, I feel like I can do like IRL just chatting content. I feel like I want to move over to Twitch. Like, all of my features are catered more towards Twitch, and my TikTok streams were kind of like not falling back, but like I was losing that because I was more so like, I want to do Twitch. So January 2025, I started streaming on Twitch. I had 118 followers. That is when I really started going hard on Twitch. I was streaming every other day for the entire year, and I accumulated like 700 followers in a year, which is really hard to do on Twitch. And I knew that it was going to be hard at first, but the whole lesson in this is what I'm getting to. So this is how I started my content journey to where I'm at today, right now, telling you. I streamed every other day on Twitch for a year, and I learned so much. I'm about to share some of what I learned with you right now, and then the rest of it I will show y'all in other videos. But this is how I started my content journey, and some of the things that I learned are what I'm going to talk about today, and those are the most important things that I feel like y'all should know. One of, if not the most important things, I know y'all hear it all the time, I know you get tired of hearing it, but it's literally just being consistent. If you go back to 2025 and look at my Twitch tracker, you will see that the beginning of the year was a little rocky. And then like June or July, I hit a switch and I literally was streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the entire year. And that consistency is what propelled me forward way more than doing the craziest things. So what I mean by that is there are different forms of consistency, right? There's consistency of going every day, which works for some people. There's consistency of doing it twice a week for 3 weeks, and then moving it up to 3 times every, you feel what I'm saying? So don't ever let somebody tell you that consistency is gonna all be the same. It looks the same for everybody, because that's not true. If you can only fit 2 streams into a week for a whole year, then that is still you being consistent. Don't let somebody else's consistency deter you from your form of consistency. Now, will the person that's streaming more than you grow a little bit more than you? Yes, but that's not what matters. What really matters is you going forward and still doing it every time that you can, and even squeezing a little bit more every now and then, because you will have time, and still doing it. So I think the biggest thing for me is I was always watching other streamers, and I was always watching them and being like, man, how do they have this and I don't? How come I'm streaming every other day and they're not having this? You have to get that self-talk out, okay? Because everybody has it. You have to just remind yourself that everybody starts somewhere. You don't have to make everything perfect at the beginning. You just need to get it out there. So what I mean by that is stop trying to make every post go big. Stop trying to make every stream a great stream. Sometimes you just need to sit in front of the camera with 2 people watching you, and y'all are just staring back at each other. Sometimes you just need to sit in front of a camera with you and Fossabot live on stream, watch some videos, Act like a whole crowd is there, and that's going to help you because you're being consistent. You're going to start a stream and you're going to have nobody in there. That is just inevitable. Every streamer does it unless they're coming from a previous following. But a lot of us now are streaming to nobody, and it sucks. Just going to call it out for what it is. It sucks. But it's also a part of what makes you into who you're going to be if you just keep going. Consistency. And I can attest to that because when I was streaming in 2020, I had no viewers. My parents didn't even really know what it was. My friends didn't really know what it was, but I kept doing it, and then people started picking up on it. Oh, he's doing this. Oh, he's doing this. And it may have been people I knew, but they were seeing it, and it was making my viewers go up. And viewers, I'm going to keep it a bean with y'all. Viewers don't matter. They never have. Viewers do matter, but they don't matter in an essence of when you're first starting out. What you're doing when you're first starting out is you're figuring out who you are on camera. You need to figure out who you want to be on camera and who you would like to be, because if you're out here trying to be like the next person, it's never going to work for you. You just need to start the stream or make some videos and just get used to being on camera. That way, when you have 2 or 3 people in there that found you through your short form posts, you're used to it, okay? So stop trying to make everything seem like you're a big creator when you're not, bro. You got to embrace the smallness because, pause, being a small creator is fun. Like, as much as it sucks right now, you'll look back and be like, dang, I remember those days when I had 2 or 3 people in there, and it's going to be sweet to see. But you don't even realize it because you're so caught up in trying to be a bigger creator, and you're so caught up in trying to be like the next person you saw on TikTok that you can't even enjoy where you are right now. You have to enjoy the process of building. That's the biggest part about it. It's all about the journey. It's not about the end goal, because you know what happens when you reach the end goal? You're already ready to reach. You're already trying to reach the next subject. You're already trying to reach the next goal. You have to enjoy the process and enjoy that it sucks, embrace the suck, and just do it. I can personally attest to this because I started in 2018 and had no idea what I was doing, and built a brick in 2020 and built another brick by doing YouTube in 2023, 2024. And then in 2025, I took it very serious, and I've created the little community that we have today that I love, all off of being consistent. Now, I can attest to this because my consistency looked like learning in 2018, actually downloading Twitch in 2018, streaming in 2020, streaming really hard in 2023, taking a little break, picking it back up at the end of 2024, and then switching to Twitch in 2025. And that was my consistency. Now, was there a big gap in between there? Yes. Would I have been further along if I would have just stayed with it? Yes. But I'm very grateful and very happy that I chose to take those risks of moving and doing all those things for content, because I knew that it was what I needed to do, and I was chasing the uncomfortability of all of it. And that is what's going to separate you from all the other streamers that fizzle out, is because you're chasing the uncomfortable feeling, and you will know when something's uncomfortable because you're just kind of out of your comfort zone and there's actual danger, right? I always tell my chat, there's a difference in danger versus fear. Fear is not real. Danger is a threat to you. You need to learn to decipher the two. Your mind is going to tell you to stay where you're comfortable. Don't stay where you're comfortable. Just continue to go. You feel what I'm saying? So all this to say, this is just an introduction to this account. I'm really looking forward to sharing a lot of the things that I've learned with you, but the main message today is consistency. I know I rambled and kind of went all over the place. If you guys have any questions, please join my stream on Twitch. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, even sometimes on Saturdays. And I mean, we cut up, man. We do a whole lot of different things. We yap at the beginning. We play games. I'm supposed to be Elden Ring at the end of 2026. And if you guys ever have any questions from this video right here, be sure to drop the link below. And I'm not talking that kind of link, my Twitch link. Hit the link and y'all will find me, follow me. And then when I'm live, because I will be live, y'all can ask me any questions that y'all want. You just need to stay consistent, trust the process, enjoy the journey, and be yourself.